So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to put in a camera and also how to set up a basic rendering in Mental Ray. So here I have a model made for the first assignment, and I've already put on all the materials. So right now I'm going to put in a camera which offers you more options when you render compared to perspective or elevation viewports. So okay, to put in the camera you have to go to this icon here. Alright, click on it, and free is for animation and target is for still camera. So we're going to use target for now. Click on target, and usually the way you put it is in a top viewport. So I'm gonna put the camera somewhere outside first. So I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna pull it. Okay, so I've already planted my camera on this corner of the building. Alright, you see? So right click to get it done. And okay, so how do I move the camera? If I click in the middle, somewhere in the middle of the line here, it will automatically select the target and the camera source. So now I can move both of them at once. If I just select the camera, I will only move the camera. If I select the target, I will only move the target. So how do you want to know which angle you're looking at? So you can just go to any viewport. In this case I'm just going to use perspective viewport, and then I'm going to change it. I'm going to go to this top left title here, and I'm going to right click on it, and now you see that I have a camera list on top. So I'm just going to go to camera, and since I just have one camera, so there's only one camera view here, I'm just going to click on it, and you see this is the camera view. Okay, so if I click on the camera and I move it up, let's say I move it up from the view from the left viewport, I pull it up, it's going to be affected. The view is going to be affected here. If I select the target and I pull it up, the view will be affected. Alright, so that's how I put in a camera. And you can also tweak some adjustments on the camera by selecting the camera. Okay, you must make sure you select the camera instead of target. So once you select the camera, you go to the modify tab, and you have this. Basically this is the stock lenses. Okay, so by default I believe it's in 35 if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, let's press 35. Oh no, now it's 35. Previously it was 28. So this is 28. Basically it zooms out a bit, and 24 and 15. Bear in mind, if you use a smaller stock lens, it's going to, the view is going to be a little bit distorted. Okay, you will experience this in interior rendering. So okay, usually it's 35. Okay, so you can also go to 200 if you want to. That's going to zoom in. Alright, and you're just going to go back to 35. So that's about it. That's how you can also experiment with some of this. You also have a depth of field effect, so you can just turn on the depth of field and render, and you're going to have that effect. So you can also experiment around with all the settings. Okay, so that's how you put in the camera. So now we're moving on to the setting up of basic rendering in Mental Ray. So we're going to bring up our render setting by pressing F10 on the keyboard. Oops, F10. Okay, so by default the size of the rendered images is going to be 640 by 480, as you can see. You can also choose one of these options. So if you want to make it bigger, you can choose 8 times 800 times 600. Okay, if you want to make it bigger than that, you can also key in your own size, but always make sure that you've already pressed on this lock symbol here. Okay, so that it will be proportion whenever you change the width or height. So right now, if I put in 1500, you will see that the height will be in proportion as well when I press enter. You see? Okay, so always remember to press the lock icon here. So that's for the size of a render. And okay, remember that we must always make sure that we're in mental re-render. Okay, so this is fine. And now we're going to go to indirect illumination tab here on top. Click on that. So this is very important. Okay, the first thing you must make sure is you select the preset. Okay, so now we're in custom mode. Usually I'm going to use either low or medium. You can also use high or very high, but that's going to take forever for you to render. But the quality is going to be much better than low or very low or draft. Okay, so usually for my test rendering I'm going to use low, and for my final rendering I change it to either medium or high. Okay, and okay, it's gonna look a bit different in other version of 3ds Max, but always make sure that you turn on the Final Gather here. Alright, first make sure you've turned on the Final Gather, choose your preset. Alright, low to very high, and then secondly we're gonna run down a bit. Okay, make sure that you enable global illumination, GI. Okay, just click on that. And okay, GI works on photons, so if you increase the number of photons, the quality of rendering is going to be better. Alright, so you can either increase the photon sample or increase the preset, but photon is basically on lightings. Okay, so that's about it. I mean, this is for basic rendering. These are the only two that you need to concern. Okay, make sure you enable Final Gather, and also make sure you've enabled GI. That's it. So now we're going to render this view, but we're going to have a bit of a problem there because we haven't put in any lights at all. We haven't put in any sun or interior because we haven't got to that chapter. So if I render, there's going to be an error message popping out saying that I don't have any light. For this case, we're just going to ignore that. Okay, so I'm going to press render. Like I said, these are going to show up. There are no photon emitters in the scene, meaning that there's no light in the scene. So for now we're just going to ignore it. Press OK. Alright, it's going to take a bit of a time because we've increased the render setting. You see, the quality is better than just pressing F9 without tweaking the render settings. Okay, so this looks better than standard rendering. Usually I just press F9 without having to tweak the render settings, right? Which turns out pretty bad in terms of the quality. Alright, so this is done. Well, basically this is how a low preset looks like. So you can always increase the preset to high or very high. It's going to look better. And of course you can also increase the photons in GI if you want to, provided that you have light in the scene. So that's about it. Thank you very much.